Many people have asked me, did you know the moment that your body was healed? And to be really honest, no. I cannot tell you that exact moment of when I felt a healed body, but I can tell you that there were signs along the way. And so the body is always communicating. And I truly feel that the body even communicates when you start going down that slippery slip, and it's not always on that healing journey. But when that healing journey comes and you notice that you are sleeping deeper, I noticed I could jump out of bed without the aches and pains. I noticed that I had energy throughout the whole day, and it was sustained energy. I noticed weight being released, and I thought that at one stage, like, my body felt fine and I was at my ideal weight. No, there was still more weight to release. And when it got to the stage where my body was happy, it stabilized. And so I feel like when the body feels safe, it releases what it doesn't need. And so don't have a number in your head. It will happen, and then you'll look back and you go, okay, so this is my new number. This is where I am. Or this is my new dress size. This is, the clothing size that I'm meant to be wearing. And you'll feel good in it. And you'll feel energetic in it. And you'll feel happy in that. And so when you feel all those feelings, that's when your healing journey has happened. I did not find out, because I had polycystic ovary syndrome. I used to, obviously skip my menstrual cycles, and for months I would have no menstrual cycle. And so when the time came where a friend of mine who was doing reflexology on my feet, she said to me, Kerry, I think you need to take a pregnancy test. And I said to her in that moment, no, because I've been so disappointed in the past. I do not want to do a pregnancy test. But I was driving home that day, and something said, oh, so she's seen something on my feet. So let me go and I'll buy a home test, and I'll just do a home test. So I did a home test, and it showed positive. So it was like, no, I don't believe it. Let me go and get a blood test done. So I went off to the hospital and got a blood test done, and you've got to wait. I waited a good couple of hours before I got the results. But what I did is I got the telephone number of the laboratory, and I gave the telephone number to my husband, and I said to him, you phone, because I actually can't phone. He said, what am I phoning for? He didn't even know. So I said, well, this is what happened today. I've got a test. It showed positive, but I really don't believe it. So I've gone and done a blood test. So he phoned, and the blood test was positive. It's like, you pregnant? I'm going, no, don't believe it. Let's go and make an appointment with the gynae. If I make an appointment with the gynae, and the gynae can actually show me that I am pregnant, then I will believe it, because then it's like I've done 3 different tests in order to believe it. So we made an appointment. It was a couple of days' time. We made an appointment to go and see the gynae, and the gynae was pushing and he was prodding around. He was pushing and prodding, and he was going, you haven't been taking your folic acid, and you haven't been doing these, and I'm going, just confirm if I'm pregnant or not. Am I pregnant or not? He said, come, let's do an ultrasound, because now he's like huffing and puffing. He was very old, a gynae. He specialized in problems. He actually delivered me. So he was a very old gynae, and he was like huffing and puffing, and he was like, okay, let's go and do the ultrasound. And so he does the ultrasound, and there's a heartbeat, and I just burst out crying. I just absolutely burst out crying, because it was like, this was a dream come true. This was a miracle in my eyes. It was like, you've been told over and over that your body can't do this, that you won't be able to do this, and then your body does it, and the body heals, and the body gives you everything that you've ever dreamed of. It was massive. So I not only burst out crying when I heard the heartbeat, but he goes, there's a whole baby. I said, so what does that mean? He said, you are 12 weeks pregnant. So I had missed the first trimester. I was absolutely oblivious that I had a whole baby growing in me for 3 months already. All the worries were finished because I didn't have to worry about whether I was going to miscarry this baby or not, because I was already 3 months down the line, and I was just so positive that this baby was meant to be and this baby was coming. And so after all those tests and after actually getting the positive news, I celebrated like crazy internally. I had the most beautiful pregnancy. I felt amazing, like amazing. There was no bump that showed, by the way, in the first 3 months. I was running and I was exercising. My races were a little bit slower than normal. I thought I was constipated. Those were the kind of things that I was thinking, because it was a little bit hard, but I didn't find out until I was 12 weeks pregnant. And if I hadn't have gone to my friend that did the reflexology on my feet, I wouldn't have had the courage to take the test. I wouldn't have had the courage to go and get the blood test done. So I thank her. Her name is Kareen, and she's based in Australia at the moment. And I haven't seen her for years, but I always remember that was a very, very special moment that we shared. And it was a huge milestone, because at that stage I had done the physical work on me. I had also done the mental work on me. I was so much more positive about my life. I was in a space where I had done the mirror exercise and I loved me. I loved me. And so there was so much emotional work that I had done. I did have my faith back. I got my faith back. I did believe in God. I did courses in order to get there. And I did believe that there was a higher power. And I did believe in myself. And so there's not one moment when I can say that I felt that that was my healing and I was done. It was multiple moments leading up to that beautiful day when I eventually got the confirmation that I was carrying a baby. And it was just amazing. And that baby is 22 years old today. And then I went on to when he was 14 months old, and I was having a really strange menstrual cycle, because obviously now my whole body had been shifted and changed, and there was so much that was working and so much that I was like querying. And so when he was 14 months old, I was having a really strange menstrual cycle. I went to a gynae, a different gynae. I changed my gynaes. I wanted one that I was happy with. And I said to him, I don't know what's happening, but this doesn't feel right to me. And after doing the examination, he said to me, you're having a miscarriage. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know I was pregnant again. He said, but you've kept one. I said, what? What? He said, you were obviously pregnant with twins. You're busy having a miscarriage. That's why it's a really strange menstrual cycle. But there's still one baby there. And that's my daughter, who next month turns 21 years old. So I feel blessed. I feel so blessed that I was able to go through these amazing transformations of the physical body, because I had done all the other work, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything. And so, do you know when your moment was, when you did the healing? Or do you know when the moment was, when your healing wasn't so good? I'd really like to know from you, because I truly feel both of those are very gradual, but the body does communicate. So are we listening? Have a beautiful day.